So this is going to be a little bit unorthodox because this doesn't work. So we're going to use a TV. Now, tonight I'm going to talk to you about metal and video games, of course. We'll get to that eventually. But rather than actually telling you about metal, I would like to show you, and I'd like to help you feel what it's like. So I'd like everyone to stand up, if you're able. You don't need to actually see the screen for the next few minutes, so just close your eyes, open your ears and your imagination. Okay, so just close your eyes and open your ears, and here we go. Turn up the volume. Turn it up, turn it up. You're hiking through a mountain range, heather and moss gently squashing under your boots as vast white peaks loom in the distance. All of your best friends are there, hiking with you. Dog lovers can see a friendly but noble golden retriever wagging and smiling at their side. If you prefer cats, you see a wild lynx from afar, just observing, not at all threatening. Deep in your heart, you know the summit is near. Feel the mild summer sunlight as you ascend. Feel the power in your legs as you climb. The pleasant heat, breathe in the fresh air of a distant glacier. You're powerful, you're happy, you're uplifted. You feel sheer exhilaration as you reach the summit. Camaraderie, excitement at the view from the peak. You crest over the mountain and you stand astride the top, victorious, invincible. You high-five your friends, you low-five the dog, and you wink at the lynx. You look out at the rolling mist over the mountains, and in the distance you see another peak to climb, and you go straight for it without hesitating. Okay, open your eyes and you can turn and look at the screen now. There's actually going to be stuff on it. So my previous Video Brains talks have been about feelings. The feeling of exploring an alien world, the feeling of nostalgia, the feeling of solace and comfort, and tonight I'm going to talk about the feeling of metal. We often use the language of cinema and literature to explain video games. I want to turn that on its head and use the language of video games to explain why I love metal and why you already love it too, and you just don't know it yet. So linking video games with heavy metal might sound like I'm reaching, especially when I'm the guy that unapologetically defends Sonic the Hedgehog, but there's a long history here. So most people here know the tune At Doom's Gate, which is the first level of Doom. But if you listen carefully, this is not just video game music. This is thrash metal. It's straight out of the 1980s. id Software coded this game on an auditory diet. Oh yeah, you're turning it up, you're getting into it, it's good. They coded it on a diet of Metallica and Slayer. And if you don't believe me, here's a clip from Metallica's No Remorse off their 1983 album Kill 'Em All. See, it's the same song. Okay, so what do we mean when we talk about metal? We're talking about bands that dress up like they're on the Golden Axe box? Are we talking about good old-fashioned Satanism? What about Ozzy Osbourne? So, metal is all of these things, but it's more than just the stereotypes. Much like the mainstream media paint video games in broad brushstrokes, there's a lot more to metal than beards and beer and fighting dragons. Not that there's anything wrong with any of those things, of course. So I'm going to look at 3 different aspects of modern metal music and show you their analogues in video games. And crucially, I think that these elicit the same emotional responses for us in both mediums. They work in exactly the same way. So first I want to talk about a musical trope called the drop. This is a clip from Mastodon's Oblivion, which is from their 2009 album Crack the Skye, which is a personal favourite of mine. Pay close attention, not to the ridiculous video, but to the progression of the music. I want you to listen for the way the chord progression builds up to a release of tension. That's the drop. Okay, so hopefully you noticed that sort of swooping noise with the guitars before the drums kick back in, and that's the song's way of telling you it's time to start headbanging and turn your fist into some horns. So as we all know, Bayonetta 2 is the best action game ever made. It's a stroke of genius's Witch Time, and that's a slow-motion dodge that uses the drop to telegraph enemy moves. This is a somewhat secret fight against Rodin. He's a shopkeeper at the gates of hell. See, the game's metal already. And the only way to win this is to listen and to know when Rodin is going to attack before preemptively dodging. So you can kind of hear those audio cues and see little visual flashes coming through. Bayonetta 2 is this kinetic ballet. It's a series of drops and swoops counter dodges. It feels really exhilarating once you've mastered it. So here is another Platinum game. This is Shinji Mikami's Vanquish. Hey! And it's another outstanding game that uses rhythm of constant ebb and flow to great effect. And I've juxtaposed it with another song. It's a series of build-ups and drops. And that song's called Bullet Ride by In Flames. So this is off their 2000 album Clayman. And if you need a song for a marathon running playlist or to get to your second Ironman, it comes highly recommended. So having a game or a song that was relentlessly brutal would be really tiring and cognitively demanding, but both Vanquish and Bullet Ride have a wonderful flow, and Bungie called this the famous 30 seconds of fun in Halo, and this is what keeps us excited by switching up the tempo and the melody of the scene. Easy listening for Monday evening. So, get the idea. Okay. So, have we got any drummers here? Okay, just one. So, two. Oh, I was couple. Okay, I'm really sorry for this description. So, a paradiddle is a basic drum rudiment, and it consists of 2 single strokes followed by a double stroke. So that is right, left, or left, left. These are the kind of things that you practice over and over until your hands are bleeding, your rhythm becomes muscle memory. See, like he can't help himself. So the paradiddle is like the Hadoken of drumming, if you like. Once you've mastered the basic moves, you can start to chain them into drum combos. So this guy is Dan Presland. He's the drummer of an Australian progressive metal band called NeuraleObutale, and that's Latin for Forget Not, classics fans. And this song is delightfully titled And Plague Flowers The Kaleidoscope, but I promise it's going to be nice. So the Sydney Conservatorium of Music announced that they were going to include this song on their classical teaching syllabus. And Professor Matthew Hansen said, musicians deserve to hear the music of Obliviscaris and the music of many other metal bands in order to appreciate the compositional complexity that lies within it, no matter what their musical tastes. I had to cut that out because otherwise I'd just be watching it as I was rehearsing and going, oh wait, I've run over time. It's a 7-minute long song. It's prog metal. It's basically the Kojima Productions of metal. So it's 3 minutes of song extended into 15 minutes of exposition. So in the same way, I strive to appreciate the compositional complexity of games and the skill that it takes to master them. Now, this clip is the famous EVO 2004 Street Fighter 3 match between Daigo Imahara playing as Ken and Justin Wong playing as Chun-Li. And it's an incredible display of skill from Daigo, who uses the precise timing and mastery of parries, the paradiddles of Street Fighter 3, to turn the match around. So I can't play a paradiddle and I can't play competitive fighting games, but that in no way stops me from being enthralled by the technical mastery. So I watch a lot of speedrunning videos. I love when games become performance art, and for me these game performances are like a great drum line or a perfect guitar solo. So if a guitar solo is a killer combo, then a great metal song is like 4 combos all at once. This is an interesting juxtaposition between the game Dishonored being played at its best, not by me, and the song 512 by Lamb of God. So Lamb of God are famous for the Wall of Death mosh pit, but they're also famous for their technical flair, and they're usually called a groove metal band. So the singer Randy Blythe was detained in a Czech prison in 2013 on manslaughter charges, and he was later acquitted. 512 is a song about his growing feelings of isolation and depression, which is interesting parallels if you've played Dishonored and you know the story of Corvo. But for this mashup, I want you to think specifically about the technical mastery on display, the drums, the riffs, the flow of the player, and the dedication required. So, 3 things. 1, I didn't edit this video to make it fit with the audio. 2, I promise it will only run for 2 minutes. And 3, this guy's singing's actually considered quite good within metal circles. That's probably enough of that, isn't it? Right, okay. So metal, like gaming, has a bit of a community problem. Metalheads are similar to hardcore gamers in their elitism and gatekeeping that doesn't meet these nebulous standards of purity. And if you thought that this isn't a real game was a really frustrating and boring conversation to have, try This Isn't Real Metal. So I'm just going to present this without comment. Okay, so this is Babymetal. They are a Japanese idol group that merge kawaii J-pop with heavy metal. And you'd be hard-pressed to come up with a group that are more irritating to the traditional metal scene. So what do you think happened whenever Babymetal toured the UK? People absolutely loved them, and they sold out everywhere. So Babymetal are by no means a traditional act. What they absolutely nail is the spirit of metal, a little bit of iconoclasm, a bit of self-awareness, a bit of piss-taking. So Babymetal for me are a bit like video gamers, the Miller Report series.
From the Miller Report. And Splatoon is the latest game to come to the Nintendo Wii U home entertainment system, and everybody's excited about it. But they shouldn't be, because Splatoon is for babies, like this one. And here's why. Number 7. It's from Nintendo. Nintendo makes games for babies. They always have, and they always will. It stands to reason then that any new product they release would always be aimed at babies. Like this one. And wouldn't you know it? Just look at this nonsense. Nintendo are guilty as charged. Where's the bullets? Where's the hard-hitting truth that comes from actual war? Nintendo aren't taking things seriously, because Splatoon is for babies, who are never serious.
So what I love about video gamers is that they take mainstream games as seriously as they deserve. There's a bit of self-deprecation in there, an acknowledgement that just because we love something, whether that's games or metal, doesn't mean that we have to be really po-faced or self-righteous about it. Of course, there are a couple of instances when metal and video game silliness collide. One's Double Fine's Brutal Legend, which is Tim Schafer's love letter to heavy metal. You play as Eddie Riggs, a roadie voiced by Jack Black, who you may know from his musical project Tenacious D. And I'm never sure whether the joke of Tenacious D is the obvious obliviousness of their music, the fact that they're actually quite a good band. Though regardless, they do embrace the silliness of metal, and they're a lot stronger for it. Now, you can call Tenacious D a lot of things, crass usually, but it's all in good humour. So to me, Rock Band is the ultimate metal video game, not because it lets you play metal songs, but because it's a celebration of both rock culture and video game culture, and metal is about coming together. It's a sense of community. Moshing is dancing for people who are crap at dancing. Patches on leather jackets and boots are for people without any fashion sense. And if you've ever been to a metal festival, it's not a place of aggression and violence, it's a place of love and good nature, probably because half the audience are baked. So, if game culture can learn anything from metal culture, it's a sense of humour. We have game conferences, but we don't have a lot of game festivals. We have serious discussions like Video Brains, but we also need more celebrations. But I think what draws me to both video games and metal is they make me feel something beyond the drudgery of pop music and mainstream television. What is the value of entertainment, of art, if it doesn't really move you and stir the emotions? Metal, like gaming, is art at the very edge of our emotions. It's about the melody and the passion and the rhythm and flow, the technical mastery and the composition. Maybe you remain unconvinced, but for those who already rock or are about to rock, I salute you. So, thank you. So I normally do a further reading, but this time I did some further listening. So you've got Mastodon's Once More Around the Sun. It's a great introduction to the genre. Heavy, not too heavy, clean vocals, just a really fun record. Lamb and God's Sturm and Drang, which is brand new, came out on Friday. It's absolutely brutal, blistering, there's a lot of depth. These are in order of kind of easy to, you're gonna kill your granny. So I mentioned Obliviscaris earlier. Portal of Eye is their unbelievably good debut. It's also got the best use of violins I've heard in a metal album. They're actually playing in London next week, so you can come along, we can hang out. And finally, I've got a cool new podcast called Cast Iron, and every week me and my friend Lewis Clark dissect a classic metal album. And unlike most of my promotions at Video Brains, this is free, so check it out. All right, thank you.